Most astonishing revelations in Christian history. Truths so profound that they were locked away for centuries, hidden from the world. The story of the Book of Revelations was passed down from pastor to priest book, from church to temple. This Bible isn't the familiar one with 66 books that you find in most Christian traditions. No, this one contains 88 books, including texts that were banned, suppressed, and deemed too dangerous by early Christian leaders. But why? What if I told you that within these banned books are secrets about fallen angels, the Nephilim, and prophecies that describe the end of the world in ways you've never heard before? What if these books revealed hidden knowledge of the cosmic battle between good and evil, details of heavenly hierarchies, and the role of angels and demons in shaping the fate of humanity? Today we are going to uncover the hidden books of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, a Bible that contains books filled with mysteries that have been lost to most of the Christian world for centuries. But why were these books banned? What was it about these texts that made Western church leaders so uncomfortable that they excluded them from the Bible we know today? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand the real reasons why these books were considered so dangerous and the astonishing revelations they contain that could change how you see the entire Bible. Let's begin with this. While most Christians know the Christian Standard Bible, or the King James Bible, which both contain 66 books, 39 in the Old Testament and 27 in the New Testament, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible includes an incredible 88 books. That's right, 22 extra books. And these aren't just footnotes or additional commentaries. These are fully fledged sacred texts that were once revered but later banned from mainstream Christianity. Some of these books were part of early Jewish and Christian tradition, used by communities for centuries. They contain prophecies, cosmic visions, and stories of the ancient world that you won't find anywhere else. But these were books that early church councils, particularly after the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, deemed too controversial, too mystical, or too closely tied to Jewish traditions. Ethiopia's connection to the Bible goes much further back than you might think. Before European colonization, long before Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, the ancient kingdom of Ethiopia had already developed a spiritual tradition linked directly to the Bible. The roots of Ethiopian Christianity stretch all the way back to the 4th century AD, when the Kingdom of Aksum officially adopted Christianity as its state religion. In fact, Ethiopia became one of the first nations in the world to adopt Christianity, centuries before many Western nations. From that time, the Bible, written in Ge'ez Osan, ancient Ethiopian language, became central to Ethiopian religious life. But Ethiopia's connection to biblical history likely goes even further, beyond Christianity itself. According to ancient Ethiopian tradition, this connection begins with the Queen of Sheba, who traveled from Ethiopia to visit King Solomon in Jerusalem around the 10th century BC. This visit is mentioned briefly in the Western Bible, but Ethiopian tradition expands on the story. The Ethiopian Bible goes so far as to tell us that the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon had a child, Menelik I, who would become the first emperor of Ethiopia. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Menelik is said to have brought the Ark of the Covenant, yes, the Ark that held the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, back to Ethiopia. For Ethiopians, this wasn't just a historical event, it was a divine mission. Ethiopia, according to their tradition, was chosen by God to be the protector of the Ark of the Covenant, directly linking Ethiopia's spiritual destiny to Israel's sacred history. So, with such a profound connection to biblical law, it's no surprise that Ethiopia became a spiritual stronghold, a nation that not only embraced Christianity early, but also became the guardian of ancient texts that other Christian traditions eventually rejected. As Ethiopia stood apart from Western European influence, it preserved these sacred books in its Orthodox Bible. These texts remained a part of Ethiopian religious life for centuries, even as they were slowly pushed out of the Western Christian canon. But that brings us to the question, why were these books excluded from the Standard Bible? The reasons are as complex as they are fascinating. Some of these books were banned because they contain ideas that were seen as too mystical or too speculative. Books like the Book of Enoch describe celestial beings, fallen angels, and the Nephilim, mysterious giant beings that were the offspring of humans and angels. These apocalyptic visions delve into the secrets of heaven and hell, the origins of sin, and God's final judgment, which was seen as too dangerous for the early church to endorse. Others were banned because they stayed too close to Judaism. Books like Jubilees and Maccabees emphasize the strict observance of Jewish laws, such as the Sabbath, dietary practices, and circumcision. At a time when the early Christian church was trying to distinguish itself from Judaism, these texts were seen as a threat to the new identity that Christianity was building. Finally, some of these books were seen as a threat to orthodoxy, to the unified doctrine that the early church was trying to establish. Church leaders feared that including these books might lead to diverse interpretations of theology, particularly regarding the role of angels, the afterlife, and God's divine judgment. Allowing these books to remain in the canon could have opened the door to heresy or division within the early church. But there's more. During the colonial era, when European powers, particularly Italy, sought to dominate Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible itself became a target. It was viewed as a spiritual threat to European control. The Bible's unique content, which tied Ethiopia spiritually to Israel and early Christianity, symbolized resistance to European religious and cultural dominance. By marginalizing Ethiopia's Orthodox Bible, colonial forces sought to suppress Ethiopian religious independence and enforce Western religious views. This is our channel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with anyone who's ready to dive deep into the Bible's hidden secrets. To understand why the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible includes so many books that were excluded from the standard Christian Bible, we first need to explore Ethiopia's unique place in biblical and Christian history. Let's begin in the 4th century AD, a time when much of the world had yet to fully embrace Christianity. In the midst of this, the kingdom of